July 2021. UK police knock on a mansion door in North London.
We believe you're Zhimin Qian. You're under arrest. You're going to be arrested for money laundering.
And what they found inside changes everything. 61,000 bitcoins, worth over $6 billion in modern day. The largest amount of cryptocurrency ever seized in modern history of the world. And at the center, a woman with a PhD from one of China's top universities. They called her the Bitcoin Queen, and she fooled over 130,000 people, stole their life savings, and fled to London, living in luxury for years. But here is something that nobody on the newspaper or channels are talking about. How did she manage to move $6 billion without getting caught for years? And to be precise, in Bitcoin. See, everyone thinks Bitcoin is anonymous, untraceable, and a perfect tool for crime. But it's not. I'm going to show you exactly why that thinking gets criminals caught every single time. Because this isn't just another crypto scammer gone to jail story. It's a complete breakdown of how criminals weaponize blockchain technology for the malicious events, and how blockchain forensics is so good now that even a PhD level scammers can't hide. And I've spent days on this, traced their wallets, read the court documents, and what I found is a playbook that's being used right now to scam people in crypto. So let's break it down. Qian Zhimin, a PhD student from Tsinghua University. That's basically Chinese MIT, top 1% intelligence. And that credential, that's not just impressive. In crypto, it's a weapon. Because here's the thing, when someone with a PhD tells you that they have cracked consistent crypto returns, your skepticism drops. You think, well, I don't understand Bitcoin, but she has a PhD in economics, so she must know something I don't. And that's the trap. And she knew it. Now add timing. She launched this scam during 2014 to 2017, crypto's first ever mainstream bull run. Bitcoin went from a few $100s to $20,000 each. And in China, zero regulations, no oversight, millions of people desperate to get into this new era of money. Peak FOMO. And if you're building a crypto Ponzi scheme or scam, this is a perfect recipe. New technology people don't fully understand. Massive price appreciation creating FOMO. No regulatory framework yet. Millions of victims and money with zero crypto education. Qian saw this opportunity and built a machine to exploit it. Let me show you how. At its core, it's a complete Ponzi scheme. Pay old investors with new investors money and eventually collapse when you run out of new money. Classical fraud setup. Except crypto made it exponentially more effective. Why crypto supercharges Ponzi's? Here is why. 1. Complexity creates confusion. When you tell someone that you are arbitraging Bitcoin across Asian exchanges or yield farming on DeFi protocols, they cannot fact check you. They do not understand the technology well enough to know when you are lying. 2. Borderless and instant. You could collect money from 130,000 people across China instantly. No banks, no questions, no wire transfer limits, just Bitcoin and it's done. 3. Irreversible transactions. Once you send Bitcoin to another person, it's completely gone. You cannot call your bank, you cannot dispute it, the money just disappears. And she promised 15 to 20% monthly returns. Let me put that into perspective. That's over 400% annual return. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor alive, averages 20% per year. If anyone could consistently make 15% per month, they would be a trillionaire in a few years. It's mathematically impossible. But people believed her because Bitcoin was going up and they thought their old rules didn't apply anymore. Alright, here's where it gets interesting. And this is the part most people won't explain because it's a little bit technical. But understanding this is how you protect yourself. Qian didn't just steal billions. She had to launder it, turn dirty Bitcoin into clean real-world wealth. And here is how she did it. Phase 1. collection. Victims send Chinese yuan to her company. She converts it into Bitcoin through Chinese exchanges, spreads purchases across multiple exchanges, different accounts, small to medium amounts to avoid triggering alerts. Now she's got Bitcoin, but here is where people screw on. They think Bitcoin is anonymous. Every Bitcoin transaction is recorded on a public ledger forever and anyone can see it. So how do you hide? Phase 2. Mixing. She used Bitcoin mixers, services that break the transaction trail. Here is how it actually works. You send one Bitcoin to a mixer. The mixer pools your Bitcoin with Bitcoins from hundreds of other users, breaks everything into tiny pieces, shuffles them through dozens of wallets, then sends you back one Bitcoin. But it's not your Bitcoin, it's fragments from all those other users. The trail is broken. Your input doesn't match your output. She used services like CoinMixer and CoinJoin and others that don't exist anymore. Each transaction cost 1 to 3%. But when you're laundering billions, that's a small price to pay. Now here comes phase 3, layering. Forensic tools can sometimes trace through 1 or 2 rounds of mixing. So she would move Bitcoin through 10, 15, 20 wallets each time through a different mixer at different days and with different patterns. This is called layering. The more layers, the harder it is to trace. Phase 4, integration. Now she's got clean Bitcoin. Time to turn it into mansions and Bentleys. She used OTC desks, over-the-counter brokers. These are private dealers who facilitate massive crypto trades for wealthy clients. You contact them, say, I want to sell 1,000 Bitcoin. They match you with a buyer, usually a hedge fund or institution. You sell. They wire you cash. Minimal questions asked. So the full flow is like this. Victim money goes into Chinese exchanges, then converted into Bitcoin. Bitcoin moved through mixers, spread across multiple wallets, then into OTC desks, finally to cash and real estate. Sophisticated, right? She thought she had covered her tracks, but she was wrong. Here is where Qian screwed up, and it's a mistake I see crypto criminals making constantly. She couldn't stop. Even while hiding in London, supposedly laying low, she kept moving Bitcoin. Large transactions, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars. Why? Greed, paranoia. Maybe she was paying some accomplice. Maybe funding the more luxury purchases. Doesn't matter. Every transaction was a breadcrumb. Because here is what criminals don't understand about Bitcoin technology. The blockchain is forever. Every transaction you have ever made is sitting on a public ledger. I can see it, you can see it, and police can see it too. The only thing that's hiding is who controls the wallets. But if investigators can connect just one of your wallets to your real identity, practically game over. And that's exactly what happened. Blockchain forensic firms traced her Bitcoin through all the mixing and layering. They identified her wallet clusters, dozens of addresses likely controlled by the same person. Then they found exchange deposits. Every time she sent Bitcoin to an exchange to cash out, that exchange had her KYC, her passport, her address, her bank account details. One exchange deposit, that's all it took. They got her identity, mapped her entire wallet's history, 61,000 Bitcoins across dozens of addresses. This is why privacy matters in crypto. And this is why criminals who think Bitcoin is anonymous always get caught. The blockchain doesn't lie, and it never forgets. In 2018, Chinese authorities tip off UK police via Interpol. Then comes phase 1, surveillance. Confirm she is in UK or not. Track her properties. Phase 2, blockchain forensics. Firms like Chain Analysis trace her Bitcoin from victim deposits to her wallets. Identify exchange connections, Saponia KYC data. Phase 3, build the case. Victim testimony, financial records, blockchain evidence. July 2021, police raid her North London mansion. They find hardware wallets, ledger, devices, treasures. These are physical devices that store Bitcoin wallet keys offline. the most secure way to store crypto, but also physical evidence. 61,000 Bitcoin. At that time, worth $2 billion. And today, over $6 billion. The largest cryptocurrency seizure in world history. She initially claimed that she was just holding it for some friend. You're just holding $6 billion for a friend? Totally abnormal. The trial was quick because the evidence was overwhelming. One blockchain trail, direct path from 130,000 victims to her wallets. Chain analysis reports irrefutable. 2. Financial records. No legitimate income. Luxury purchases matching Bitcoin sales. Property bought with crypto cash. 3. Victim testimony. Testimonials, investments, contracts, WeChat messages. She changed her plea to guilty. May 2024. 11 years. 8 months in prison. The era of crypto criminals getting away with it is maybe over. Blockchain forensics is too good now. Governments are taking this seriously. Steal billions, expect to spend a decade or two in prisons. Take care.